The Axiom and the dead drill are designed to work harmoniously together to teach you proper mechanics. The dead drill gets specific into the details of the mechanics and the position and the sequencing, whereas the Axiom is designed to teach you how to feel those mechanics. Because at the end of the day, we have to have proper golf swing mechanics in order to hit the ball consistently. If we have poor mechanics, we're going to get poor results. So now let me show you how the feel-based Axiom teaches you those exact same proper mechanics in the golf swing. The first thing I want to talk about is the lower body. Of course, the dead drill is really specific in teaching you how to move your hips, how to move your pelvis and your lower body, because that is hands down the hardest part in the golf swing, and that's the part that every amateur tends to get wrong. So with the Axiom, instead of having to work through and feel these mechanically based positions, the Axiom teaches you how to flow through those. But of course, you have to have both. They work together. So let's first look at how the lower body and the key parts of the dead drill work with the Axiom. One of the things that you know by now is that the lower body in the dead drill, there are specific things that we know all the best players do in the world. We know that they don't let their hips slide way out to the right. We know that their right hip moves, or the trail hip moves a little deeper during the backswing to load up that right hip. Those things in the Axiom happen by default. Now, of course, you have to do the Axiom correctly, but if you do, you'll see that as you're moving your pressure around the perimeter of the foot, what happens as I move my weight around, again, these are exaggerations, is moving it a little bit to the outside. Of course, we don't want to move way to the outside, but as we move around and I move my pressure back to 6 o'clock, what happens? Well, my hip begins to naturally open, or technically close in relationship to the target, and my right hip gets deeper as I move my weight, my pressure back to my heel. That is a fundamental of the dead drill. It's a fundamental that all tour pros do. You never see a tour pro stand up in the backswing like most amateurs do, or slide their hips, etc. So the exact same things that you learn in steps 1, 2, and 3 of the dead drill, or specifically step 1 in the backswing, is the same thing that you feel in the Axiom. The pressure shift gives you a feel, a flow-based way to do it, whereas the dead drill is telling you exactly where you need to be. And the same thing is true in the downswing. As we begin to move that pressure and shift back to the lead side, you know in step 2 of the dead drill, we've got to shift back to that lead side, the old squat to square. Those things, again, the Axiom shows you how to feel that position, to feel that movement and sequence without having to say, okay, now I've made a shift over here, now I've got to shift back to square, and now rotate my hips open. Those are what happen in the swing, of course, that's what the dead drill is based on. The Axiom teaches you how to flow through it, so they work together in that sense. Another key fundamental of the Axiom is that it teaches you an inherent rhythm and tempo and flow to your swing, whereas the dead drill is showing you how to move through those mechanical positions. You can see I'm doing step 1, 2, and 3. The same thing happens with the Axiom, but now it looks like they're all kind of one piece. In an ideal world, that's exactly what we want, but we have to learn these things typically piece by piece. With the Axiom, the way that I created it and the reason I did was to figure out a way to glue all those together in a way that is feel-based. Now there's a catch. Feel is extremely subjective. What you feel and I feel and millions of other golfers around the world feel in their swings has always been kind of like people at the Tower of Babel. Everybody's speaking a different language because what you feel and what I feel is so different. With the Axiom, I had to get very, very specific, and that's why I focused on the pressure shift of the right foot. Because you've been training this right foot for the first moment you ever stepped in a car. You've been training this sensitivity and this feel, and this is a governor for your rhythm and tempo. If you want to hit it harder and swing faster, you move that pressure shift faster. You want to hit a little chip shot, that pressure shift becomes smaller. So it's working in that sense to give you the mechanical positions of the dead drill with the rhythm and flow and tempo that you need to have a consistent and repeatable golf swing that feels effortless. So how do you get the quickest, best results from your golf swing from the Axiom and the dead drill working together? Use the dead drill to double check your positions. If you see that things are looking a little off in your downswing, your hips are coming into the ball, etc., the dead drill is there to show you exactly and specifically where your body needs to be throughout the swing to match exactly what the best players in the world are doing. And the Axiom teaches you how to feel it. Use those two together. They can't necessarily live separately for themselves. If you have poor mechanics and you don't realize where your hips are supposed to be or where your pressure is supposed to be or the positions that are necessary in the swing to have a consistent ball striking ability, then you have to understand what those are first. We need to know that, and so that's what the dead drill is there for. Walking through the dead drill system will help you understand and catch every single checkpoint that's so important for consistent and solid ball striking and to get the maximum distance out of your swing without putting a lot of effort into it. And the Axiom helps you glue all of those things together to give you one simple thing to feel and to focus on when you're on the course. But if you don't get the Axiom perfectly just right, you need to just double check your positions, and that's what the whole dead drill learning system there is for. It's going to help you feel and check different things of your swing. The Axiom helps glue it all together. Now, of course, sometimes we just need a second set of eyes, and that's what our certified instructors are here for. So if you're not sure that something's a little off, you feel like your Axiom's closed, but it's not quite there, or you've checked your dead drill position, something's missing, that's what we're here for. We want to help you get there as fast as you can to get to the promised land of fun ball striking, because golf can be fun, believe it or not. I know a lot of us sometimes we feel like, oh, it's so frustrating and so difficult, and that's typically there's something mechanically off in our swing and we don't know what it is. So use our instructors, get a swing review, or if you really want to expedite your learning process, just do a quick live lesson. A live lesson will be the best investment you make, because in your own living room, you don't have to go anywhere. Our instructors via Zoom will connect with you and they can see in real time and correct in real time what's missing, because honestly, it's quite simple. It's always something simple that's missing, and we just have to give you that one little thing that you didn't quite realize, whether it's a mechanical thing or a feel thing or a position thing, and then all of a sudden you kind of unlock the doors to consistent ball striking again. So understand that the dead drill system is not going anywhere. The Axiom isn't supplanting the dead drill. They work together. Dead drill is showing you the positions, the mechanics, the sequence. Axiom teaches you how to move and flow through all of those naturally and effortlessly so you can focus on feel when you're out on the course.